festive season is in full swing. We've got our Christmas jumpers on and we wanted to know whether it's worth making a Christmas game. There are so many horror games out there ready for Halloween. There's a whole genre, so we wanted to know, what about Christmas?
Yeah, so we found 434 Christmas and festive games on our map of Steam, and we've analysed them to answer the question, should you make a Christmas game?
Let's start with pre-launch momentum. How many wish lists could you get if you were going to make a Christmas game?
I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look great.
Oh.
So you're looking at about, on average, between 300 to 900 wish lists Christmas games are gathering.
Okay.
That's much lower than the median that you see on, your general Steam release. So Christmas games do struggle to gain momentum. So for a bit of context, about 60% of games on Steam released in 2025 failed to get over 10,000 wish lists. It tends to be seen that, and there is plenty of data to back it up, that once you get above 10,000 wish lists, things are much, much easier in terms of launch. So for Christmas games to be getting between 300 to 900 wish lists, it's really risky.
Okay, so even if you don't get that many wish lists, when is the best time to launch? Looking at the data, obviously there is assumptions about when the best time of year to launch is, but based on the data, when is the best time to launch?
I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You should launch it in the run-up to Christmas. And we do see that most people launch Christmas games in that sort of October, November, December period. However, there are Christmas games that do choose to launch in the middle of summer. Let's just assume that they're student projects or just hobby projects. And that's not something that we should poo-poo on. It's something that, if you want to make a Christmas game, you should make a Christmas game. So
we're talking about November, even December, when people are in more of a Christmassy mood. Maybe not October, because that's spooky season. You're contending with all the spooky games.
There is a really interesting observation of a number of people launching in January, and we expand on this in the blog. You can see the data in the blog. But I do wonder whether there's people who they're making a game over Christmas because they're inspired by the Christmas season, and then they launch in January. And it seems it would make much more sense to just keep that in your back pocket, wait until November the next year, plan some marketing, and then launch it then. So that's a strange observation that we made. Yeah,
because you've then got plenty of time to plan your marketing strategy for a better launch in November. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, so you've launched your game. How many copies can you expect to sell?
Okay, so again, I don't want to be the Grinch here, but on average, and we're talking the median here, so we're not talking about those big outliers. If you look at the median number of copies sold, Christmas games tend to sell about 30 copies compared to the Steam average of about 45.
Right.
So Christmas games do undersell other games on Steam.
Yeah, and are there any genres that do better than 30 copies?
So yeah, there are other genres that do better than others. The obvious one that the audience probably won't be surprised by is horror games. If you do a Christmas horror game, they tend to do better on average. But also point and click adventures and sort of hidden object puzzle games, although the hidden object puzzle games sort of a little bit biased by historical data.
Okay.
Although there's still the odd one that does really well.
Sure. And then what about genres that you kind of want to avoid, maybe?
Yeah, so unfortunately, things like Christmas 2D platformers, very saturated, really difficult to perform. Interestingly, tower defense and strategy games, you'd think that Christmas strategy games, they would perform quite well. You could find quite a niche in there, but the data seems to say that they really struggle. On average, they do worse than, say, the horror genre. And then match-3 and casual puzzle games do tend to struggle, but there are some outliers that prove that trend wrong. For example, there's Merry X-Merge. They do really, really well, and it really sort of elevates that standard formula of incorporating merge mechanics and a like light-hearted story about saving Christmas. It's really cool. And then there was as well, it's not a 2D platformer, but it is in the 2D market. So an RPG, Cthulhu Saves Christmas. It looks hilarious.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, haven't played it myself, but it did really, really well. It's really unique, it's really fun to play. So even though there's a lot of risks making a Christmas game, but there are the odd titles that do punch through.
Yeah. We've looked at pre-launch momentum, wish list, sales, and even the genres that do well and don't do well. So for the games that are out there already, what are players saying about them? What do they like about them?
So players tend to, unsurprisingly, again, I feel like I'm saying unsurprisingly a lot.
Unsurprisingly.
But
This whole video is unsurprising.
But to be honest, like, we do data analysis here at Game Oracle, but there are some things that common sense does really tell you what's happening.
Yeah.
So common sense, festive theming in games. If someone's buying a Christmas game, they're expecting a festive sort of
Make
cozy,
it Christmassy.
festive, cozy, sort of game. They like really nice visuals. Christmas games go really well with nostalgia, so like those sort of nostalgic vibes. By the way, we're not just like plucking this all out of thin air. We've analysed the reviews from all 434 Christmas games that we identified.
Yeah.
And in the blog, you can see how we identified them.
Yeah.
But just to cut to the chase, that sort of nostalgic Christmas vibe, satisfying sense of progression, the sort of marrying the general best practices of making a game with that like perfect Christmas theming.
Yeah.
What they don't like is repetitive mechanics, very weak narration, very weak sort of storyline.
Yeah.
I think with Christmas games, people are sort of expecting a bit of a story.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of really good games coming up that do this really, really well. One is Moomintroll, but they've got the franchise to back them up.
Yeah.
But then there's also Light Up the Town, which just looks adorable, and they're really focusing on that like story, heartfelt sort of Christmas story.
The opening scene of their trailer is just really like, it gave me all the fuzzy feels of Christmas, and I really wanted to play it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you're looking for.
After all that, after analysing all the data, should we be making a Christmas game? Is it worth making a Christmas game?
You need to define what worth is. If you're purely looking for commercial success, it's a huge risk. Making a game on Steam is always risky. Making a game for a Steam release is always risky.
Yeah.
But there's additional pressure. You've got a narrow window of opportunity for selling the game. They do perform worse compared to the Steam average. I think it really comes down to, are you committed to the idea? Are you passionate about it? And you really want to make a Christmas game? Then you should go and make a Christmas game.
Definitely.
But then I suppose this speaks to our philosophy at Game Oracle, is you should always be very aware of the risks, and you should forward plan for that. Don't plan to be a millionaire because you made a Christmas game.
Sure.
Make a Christmas game because you want to make a Christmas game. I
think it's one of those things that you could bring out, you could roll it out every year. Like you could, in the same way that horror games, horror games are obviously applicable all year round, but with a Christmas game, you could literally bring it back every year, maybe update it.
And on that note, it's worth saying something that we didn't analyse in this data that is really important is people bringing forward like Christmas DLC or Christmas versions of their game around Christmas time. They do actually perform really well.
Right.
They're worth doing. We didn't analyse it here because we really focused on just Christmas games, that are launching as Christmas games.
Yeah.
But it does show that there is that possibility, like you said, to roll it out every year and
and repeat marketing and maybe like get more sales based on the time of year. Brilliant. So now that we've looked at the data around Christmas games and like whether it's a good idea or not to make a Christmas game, we're going to look at some outliers that cropped up in the analysis. And the first one is...
Everybody wham wham.
Tell me about Everybody Wham Wham and why it's so unique.
Everybody Wham Wham stands out as this story-driven winter adventure centered around a snowman building competition. It was released in 2021. The game combines social gameplay with like sabotage mechanics. So players compete to create the best snowman at a festival, but you can also destroy other people's snowman, which is horrible, but you know, it's fun. The best thing about the game is just the soundtrack. It's amazing.
It's a really catchy song.
Yeah, it's great.
So what's the next one?
Santacraft. So Santacraft takes the Minecraft-inspired building genre and applies it to Christmas town construction. This one came out in December 2020. It allows players to build and customize their own festive villages, offering creative freedom within like a seasonal framework. While building games are common, the specific focus on Christmas town creation occupies a niche that few other titles have explored.
And let's do one more.
So, Snowball, exclamation mark, because there's no other way to differentiate it. Snowball, exclamation mark, is a charming casual 2D retro pinball game where players guide colossal snowball spheres for a whimsical homemade winter maze. Snowball reimagines the classic pinball game. Its unique handcraft DIY aesthetic is central to the level design, and it features like these really imaginative obstacles with snowbanks and homemade wooden paddles, Tesla coils, igloos, all sorts. It's just really fun, really casual. It's a cool game. Everybody wham wham!
So I hope that's helped you decide whether or not to make a Christmas game, and if you have made a Christmas game, we'd love to know about it, so tell us about it in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.